Hi there, it's Chardon. Just wanted to take a few minutes and go over the character creation screen for the Elder Scrolls Online Beta. Obviously there's likely to be some changes, but it does seem to be pretty complete at this point, so I expect that there won't be too much going on between now and launch. The first thing you'll notice is that you can choose between the type of gear that you look at in your character. So you can see what it's going to look like kind of in the beginning, see what it might look like all geared up, and then also, for some reason, in case you want to see what it looks like with no clothes on, there you go. Well, obviously we have the main gender setups here. We have the different factions, which they're kind of lined up here, but you can just click on the races individually. They have each of the race examples. They all look pretty good. Honestly, the Nord, especially male, kind of looks a little dumb. But next main spot, of course, name. Let's see, that'll be taken when we get to it, but I'll put that in there. So class, and of course you have your class. You have Dragon Knight, you have the Sorcerer, you have the Nightblade, and we have the Templar. And the Dragon Knight is familiar with World of Warcraft. It's a Death Knight. It's a warrior with magic. Sorcerer, of course, is the mage. Role. The Nightblade. It looks like it'll probably function sort of a mix of a rogue and a hunter. I actually run around with mine with a bow most of the time. It works out pretty well. And then the Templar is the paladin. I suppose you could do it in light armor and be kind of like a priest. And then the other interesting part is when you pick your class, looks like the armor is racially themed here. So we have our class, the Dragon Knight. You can see the armor changes for each one. And then we can look at that. Veteran gear, of course, we always see the biggest difference. Which, I've looked at these before. The this class is definitely my favorite of the armor sets. Nord looks great. You can go through and kind of look at all of them. See what all the they all look like. The Templar is effectively just the Dragon Knight in lighter colors for the most part. So that's exciting. I'm kind of hoping this isn't actually the end game gear, like the only options, but we'll see how that plays out. Overall, I'd say they're having a more realistic armor goal than some games do. The shoulders aren't totally ridiculously oversized. Alright, so I'm going to go with the Nightblade. Actually, my next class is going to be the Templar, so I'm going to go with the Templar. I'm actually going to be playing this class. Let's see, High Elf, Wood Elf, Khajiit. Let's go with High Elf, get some extra magic. Alright, bodies. We'll see we have a pretty decent selection of options. We can put this on Novice. We can get a little better look at what we're doing. We can kind of make him thin, kind of make him a little bit chubby, muscular, take a little muscular average. So we have a pretty decent height spectrum, a little bit tall. All the races have a color, a little bit of a color spectrum to go with. Let's make him pretty normal looking. Set it on the no gear so I can do some body markings. You see there's a great deal of options. I don't really know how often you're going to be running around without clothes on for these to be entirely relevant. But, nice to have the option, I suppose, when you're dancing on mailboxes in the main cities. Let's take that one. That looks good. The body. Now you have a lot of modifiers here in ways that aren't really common for MMOs. Like you can up the torso size, chest, make it a little more muscular. Which I'll go back and show you the female version of that. It's what you would expect. A little bit pudgy, a little bit skinny. Same thing with the waist. Not quite as noticeable. Big arms, hands. Let's see, hip size. And then, as you would expect from this description, can't give him a big butt. Again, more more dramatic on the females. Not sure why we need a foot size, but foot size. That kind of a little bit stockier of a gentleman here. And face, same kind of thing. We get this more of a good villainy face, more of a kind of special looking guy, all heroic. Again, I'll take a kind of average. We do get voice options at this point. And there's them yelling. I think I'm gonna go with that one. Ah, that one sounded fun. Alright, hairstyles. Of course, one might expect is a pretty good palette of options here. So I'll click through each one. Hairstyles are, pretty typical for what you get in RPGs with, customizable hairstyles. Including one that I'm not really sure why people would pick, but, there's options. Extra manly, right? Well, kind of dirty, grungy. But whatever, we'll take it. Hair color. A lot of hair color options. I'm always fond of reds, honestly. The age one, probably one of my favorite features they have going on. You can actually make him incredibly old looking. Especially if you're playing a, sorcerer class, you want to make him an old wizard. RP potential for this is great. Adornments. So this is just his beard. That is a bearded guy. It's like kind of an elf hobo. Eye patch. The mustache options are pretty enjoyable. Alright, I'm actually going to make him bearded. Fully bearded. Okay. Head markings. This little face. Kind of move through these a little bit quicker. There we go. Take that. And again, some more sizes here. Some of these they're pretty subtle. You kind of see the forehead moving back and forth up there. Cheekbones up and down. The jaw and the chin size are going to be kind of hard, but you can still see it open a little bit. Chin height. And then his neck size, which might be hard to see with the beard. You kind of see it poking out in the back there. Eye color. Let's give it a green. You can see kind of a little swatch of options there. Eye size. Do you see there's a ton of customizable options here. I'm just gonna browse through a lot of these. Eyebrows. Yeah, it's pretty fierce. Eyebrow height. Again, bit of move. Eyebrow skew, which is the left to right angle. I didn't notice that the last time in the last beta. Eyebrow depth. That isn't doing much. Okay. Get a nose. You get mouth. You get ears. But you wouldn't be able to see the ears with this character, so we're going to deal with that. You see there's a ton of customizable options here. Just a ton. I'm going to create this character, actually, before I lose what I've done in any beta shenanigans. And then once this loads in, I'm going to pop back out and I will show you the little bit of female options. There is some difference. Honestly, my fiance has been pretty excited about making herself have as unrealistic of ghetto booties for her frame as possible. So some of you may be interested in seeing that sort of thing. Let me log out of this character, and then we'll take you to that option, show you that character type. So create character. If we go female, we're going to go Dark Elf, Orc, Red Guard. Let's go with the Breton. Idea, no gear. Oh, I did not mean to collect on that. Breton, no gear. Get you into some of these, this doesn't change anything in the no gear option. Make her a reasonable looking person. Again, height scaling. Most of the changes are pretty similar, except for certain aspects are a little bit more, noticeable than others. Some people may be offended by having those kind of options, but hey, let's be realistic. People vary in that kind of size. Same thing here. But this changes a little bit more than the male version. But then you can make somebody small with, yeah. Which I think this is how my fiance's characters are kind of running around, something like that. Leg, feet, all the other things remain the same. Voices, the heroic, to not, faces, features. We can make her old. Get the head marking off. Eye color, same general selection. Just wanted to give you a little bit of variation of what we can do here. We turn the gear back on. Obviously, the face does not help with the gear on. Even with the novice gear, a little bit better because at least the helmet's off. But that's it. This is the character creation screen, and thanks for watching. Always, of course, subscribe, like, follow, click links, do all sorts of fun